recommendation is usually, at the time of the funeral, go live. Okay. Because otherwise people start calling.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I know.
And she can't phone me because
Then
we don't
Ian
disturb.
start calling me.
Oh, okay.
Well, you should have found it. You didn't check it in the bed.
Almei menuchot ינעלני נפשי ישובב ינחני במגלי צדק למען שמו גם כי אלק בקיצל מוות לא ידע רעה כי אתה עמדי שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי תשענת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה אך טוב וחסד ידיפוני כל ימי חיי ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. The words of the 23rd Psalm, Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit. Guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Do I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff, your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Thank you all so much for coming here. And of course, thank you everybody who is tuning in to accompany the family in this difficult moment where we have to say farewell to Debby Lexier of blessed memory, who was known to the Jewish people by her Hebrew name, Deborah Bat Yaakov Besara, Zikrona Livracha. The daughter, Jack and Sarah Sublinsky, blessed memory. The wife of the late Easton Lexier, of blessed memory. The sister, Friedel Pollock and Marcia Raver, of blessed memory. The mother of Jill Lexier and Neil Samuels, Jonathan and Paula Lexier, Micah Lexier and Guy Anderson. The grandmother of Joshua, Suzanne, and Lex. Debby passed away on Tuesday, July 21st, peacefully, at the age of 91. As I mentioned before, these are difficult times. It seems to be yesterday when we were congregated in the same place to say goodbye to Easton. But life sometimes plays that way. And it brings me to what we just read this week on the Torah. We are starting the last book of the Torah, the book of Deuteronomy. And this is pretty much farewell to Moses. The Jewish people just lost Aaron, who was the high priest, and now they have to go through the loss of the other leader, Moses. But this is the interesting thing, because this last book of the Torah, the book of Deuteronomy, is one long speech that Moses presented to the Jewish people. Moses was told by God, nobody will know where you will be buried. That will be just between you and me. So what Moses did was pretty much to write his own eulogy. He has the opportunity to do that, because the eulogy is something extremely important in the process of coping with death. Why so? Because we come to this place and what is leaving us, what is gone, is pretty obvious. We bury the body, we know the body is gone. But what sometimes is not so obvious is all that stays with us. All the wonderful things that we learn from the loved ones who passed away before us. And we have the opportunity to share those memories with others in the form of a eulogy. Because of the circumstances, I didn't have an opportunity to formally meet with the family this time. But at the same time, we are lucky that Micah agreed to take the responsibility and the privilege to write the eulogy for his mother, so we can all have the opportunity to bring back those memories and to begin the healing process for this loss. So Micah, I'd like to invite you to come forward.
First of all, it's a beautiful day. I think Mom would approve. It's a nice little breeze and not too much sun. And speak louder? Okay. Take the mask off? Okay. On behalf of my brother and sister, I want to thank you all for joining us in honoring a very special and unique individual. Debby Lexier was many, many things. A great athlete, one of the most creative people any of us have ever known, a stylish dresser, a strongly opinionated person, a lover and supporter of the arts, and a voracious reader and letter writer and keeper of letters and keeper of notes and newspaper articles. She was a trailblazer and an early adopter, and was the first to do many things, including being the very first U of M Bachelor of Interior Design graduate to be hired by an architectural office, GBR Architects, where our dad worked. She was a director and board member of numerous interior design organizations. She represented Manitoba and Canada on a plethora of committees, and she was a juror on dozens of design competitions. She taught night courses and wrote articles for newspapers, and I'm pleased to report that Mum's archives now happily reside with the Professional Interior Designers Institute of Manitoba, an organization that Mum was a founding member and the first director of. Mum was a world traveler and went to many destinations, including China and Russia, decades before it was common practice. She brought back objects and ideas from these trips, and I remember an incident between us when she asked me to design an invitation for an afternoon tea she was hosting. She wanted to use the term, and pardon my French here, 5 à 7, and I was worried that no one would know what it meant. I'm not sure who won that one. I think it was her. But I hope it was her. Mum was a great cook, and many of her recipes live on in the kitchens of her children and grandchildren. She was a memorable entertainer and hosted inventive, elaborate, color-coordinated, themed events. No one threw a party like Debby, and no detail was too small to be part of the design scheme. On more than one occasion, we were enlisted to hand stamp toilet paper with that party's logo. Debby, and we found it recently, we have the proof. Debby was a cool auntie, and that's a quote from her nephews, and a very engaged grandparent, creating a world where the ordinary became extraordinary, where no one was allowed to be bored. Activities included baking coffee cake, riding the train in Assiniboine Park, seeing musicals at Rainbow Stage, book shopping at McNally Robinson, tennis playing and tennis watching, board games, farmer market shopping, and most special of all, being summoned to Baba's bed for midnight chats. I didn't know about those ones. We were informed by the grandchildren. Significant events were celebrated with sparklers. Anyone who knows Debby knows what a great artist she was. A letter from Debby was easily recognizable by the drawings on the envelope. Some lucky people remember her activity of sending kids out to collect stones on the beach, on which Debby would draw faces and flowers. Many of us cherish these hand-drawn stones as a lasting memory of her creativity and inventiveness. When I think about Mum and Dad, I think about 690 Lanark, the home and award-winning gardens that they designed and lived in for over 60 years. Their home, our home, was a source of great pride for them and for us. It was a very special place filled with designer furniture, progressive artwork, and tons of books about art and design and gardening. But my favorite part of 690 was the screened-in porch that we spent so much time in as a family, especially later in life. It was the space where the 3 generations would gravitate to and congregate in during our annual summer reunion, playing remoly, eating meals, and just hanging out. It was a porch that Deb envisioned and designed, and it gave her great pleasure to see it filled up with her family. It's a reminder of what interior design is and can do, and a wonderful merging of her professional and personal life. Anyone who knows Debby knows her famous mantra. Do I even need to say it? Good, better, best, never let it rest, till your good is better and your better best. She strove for perfection in herself and in others. She was massively creative and totally her own person. She was one of a kind.
Thank you, Micah, for sharing those words with all of us. May Debby's memory be a source of inspiration and comfort. And let us all say Amen. I'm going to continue now with the recitation of the El Bala Rahamim, the memorial prayer. El Male רחמים שוכם במרומים המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה ומעלות קדושים קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע המזהירים את נשמת דבורה בת יעקב ושרה שהלכה לעולמה בעבור שאנו מתפללים ביד הצקדת נשמתה בגן עדן בגן עדן תהי מנוחתה לכם בלרחמים יעשתי ראיה וסדר כנף לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה אדוני ונחלתה ותנוח ושלום על משכבו ונאמר אמן. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Debby Lexier, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us all say, Amen. Please join me now in the recitation of the words of comfort, the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Itgadal ve'itgadash shmei rabba ve'elmad divrei chirutei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon ub'chayei dechol beit Israel b'galau v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevorach le'olam u'le'olmei olmaya ברח וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירם בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. יהי למה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו ויעשה שלום לנו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. So we have one more thing to do here at the cemetery, and that is to put a little bit of earth on top of Debby's coffin. This is a very important part of the healing process, but it's also, according to the rabbis, the highest level of kindness that we can do for somebody. And it is important sometimes to remember all the kindness that you receive from her. And I believe this is one way to repay kindness with even more kindness. So I would like to invite immediate family first to come forward, take a shovel and put a little bit of earth on the coffin. Amakom Yenachem Etchem Betok Sherav Lexier Birushalayim. God bless you and comfort you. And let us all say, Amen. Thank you all so much for coming. And thank you everyone for tuning in. If for any of you taking the ground is too hard, we have a bucket here with fine sand, which is also acceptable. It might be easier for some of you. So everybody will have the opportunity to participate.